I'm hitting go right now. We're going live now. Says we're live. Hang on. Gotta make sure. Gotta make sure we're live. There we go. One sec, chat. I'm sorry. Forgive me for my sins. Let me just wait until the feed kicks. Says we got 11. We got 1,100 people waiting in the chat, and I just need this feed to update, which it is. All right, awesome. So we're live, guys. Welcome to RDX Podcast, the Xbox event recap show, where we're gonna give you guys some details on some things that haven't confirmed. You're wondering where the hell is the panel? That's a good question. This wasn't really a super well orchestrated thing on my part. I didn't know exactly when I was gonna do this, and we do have a special guest from Xbox jumping in, as I talked about on Tuesday, for a 15-20 minute interview segment about the show. We'll have him drop in, but the panel will kind of trickle in as we go, and I don't exactly know where everyone's at. Again, that's all my fault. I didn't exactly know how I was going to do this or when I was going to do this. But either way, again, 1,200 live, guys. Hit that like button, share it out. If you haven't, we do appreciate it, guys, as we have a lot to talk about today. And let us know your thoughts as we move along as well. This should be a pretty interesting show. And you know what? This is going to be an easy introduction today. So we got two people right now on the panel aside from myself. Fonz, how you been, buddy? It was a pretty interesting day so far.
Okay, let me unmute myself here, but yeah, it's been very interesting. Dude, what can I say? It's been interesting. Let's go ahead and announce Tim, and we can go on.
Timmy, are you there?
I am here.
Awesome. Pretty big day for Xbox, right?
Yeah, pretty big day. I like the show. We're gonna go into it. I'm just happy to be here. Excuse if you hear things in the background. I am trying to get to a steady location. I work today, and we're just coming back.
Yeah. I got you turned up on my end. And again, Ricari said he was going to join us live. I don't know when he's jumping in. I don't exactly know a few different things, so I'm going to be a little off today. But again, we do have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I think Colt might be doing something behind the scenes right now. I haven't heard from him. And I'm looking at my DMs right now. But yeah, we do have all the information from the show. We have our thoughts, and we have some little tidbits of detail on maybe things like Halo that people might not know, as well as, again, the rest of the event stuff. So I guess we could start with what is, by the way, let me get this, because it's not like we got a fucking massive panel right now. Chaos Mike. Yeah. He says, show was great. Only disappointment was actually Ninja Theory. Nothing to show, but telling us their YouTube channel.
The game's in Iceland.
Hey, shout out to all our super chats, the new channel members, etc. Is that Colt?
Yeah, Colt Eastwood's here.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, Colt!
Coltist, you're here. How you been, buddy? Big day for Xbox.
Yeah. I just got done with an interview. It's like that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, should be fun.
Let me get the feed up. Let's see. There you are. 2,000 watching already.
Yeah, we had 1,000 in the chat before we went live. We just went live. So again, shout out to
incredible.
Yeah, I'm sitting here rocking out
up?
A few minutes.
Wow.
So I'm glad you're here. I figured you were working behind the scenes, and again, I was telling those guys that we should have our guest drop in around 20 minutes or so. So that'll be something interesting. But again, guys, let us know your thoughts about the event as we get going. No rush here. We're kind of letting people file in. Tony Bryant, shout out to you for coming to channel, everybody. Also, we've got Ken in the super chat. He says Infinite. And then, to the rest of you guys, shout out once more. Did we like the show? Did we not like the show? What are our thoughts on the show? Well, you're just going to have to wait and find out. If you watched last year's E3 reaction, we did not like that show at all, and actually we're not happy with that at all. So this is a little bit different scenario. There was no Bambi headbutting Xbox soap out of a vending machine this year. This time it was attacking a lady with a crossbow. We do have information. We do
That was
have,
good.
yes it was. I'm gonna start with Halo, and we're kind of letting people. D said, yeah, fucking D didn't even know the time. God damn it! So D's on his way.
He's on Canadian time.
He's
They
on
use
Canadian
Mexican
time. So Colt, look, I'm gonna point out the obvious about Halo Infinite, and again, as always, I'm just speaking facts, truth, right? Doesn't mean
Okay.
the game's not gonna be good. That doesn't mean the game's not gonna look good. But right now, this game is shown off in a rough state. And if you paid attention to the background, stuff like that, first off, I like the gameplay. I actually thought, I was like, wow, this kind of does bring back that vibe. And they've added that grapnel hook, kind of from the Doom Slayer shotgun and stuff like that. But there was a massive pop in the background. There was grass popping in right next to Chief. This was obviously in a very rough state, and to illustrate that further, I just want to point out the visuals first, because we're not going to harp on that. We're just letting you know. That way, if you see it in the footage or if you're hearing things, that's exactly what people are talking about. Also, Atriox's face, texture straight out of the N64. I was very surprised that they got that close up on him. I'm not going to lie. The box is capable of a lot more than this, and I think that this is just a very rough build of the demo, which is kind of weird considering it comes out very soon. Also, the animations and stuff on the face, I just wasn't super impressed with certain aspects of it, but the gameplay looked phenomenal. They also said the ray tracing will not be there at launch, illustrating my point further that this is not quite ready. And they did say that it's not even really a full-on complete campaign. It's a living campaign, and I don't know how to feel about that. Chat, let us know how you feel about that. But the gameplay looked pretty good, Fonz.
Well, can I jump in here for a second on the graphics?
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about when I was referring to the trailer that they had at their last show for Halo, and I mentioned that it didn't look next gen to me. It still doesn't to me. Now, did
It's
it give
not.
me? It gave me
It's not.
combat. It gave me combat evolved vibes though, and I felt good about that. I like the environment and I like the gameplay it showed. I just didn't see that wow factor from the graphics themselves. Nothing jumped out and said Series X, you know.
Well, yeah, the ray tracing and stuff wasn't in the game yet.
Yeah, and it's not going to be there at launch apparently.
Yeah.
So that's not a good look. But the pop in, I immediately noticed that too, and it seemed like when he was going to look up at something moving across the sky, a ship, that's when something would disappear off the ground next to him, like blades of grass and stuff. And I'm like, what's that about? Like,
I mean, we
why
know
is it
the
doing
current
that?
game doesn't even do that, so we know it's just a rough fucking build.
It just, I don't know. It's almost like I didn't want them to show that state of play like that. I don't know. It just didn't scream any kind of Series X gameplay to me at all. And I needed to see more of that, but it did give me vibes from Combat Evolved, and I like that, and I liked that feeling. So I'm all for the gameplay. I just need to see this looking better. I really do.
Yeah.
D-Bench.
Yeah, man. When I was watching it in real time, first of all, I got hyped in the beginning. Like I thought the lead up on the ship and everything when they get out and you see the new fucking HUD in his visor. It's like, okay, here we go. And he starts shooting the enemies. I'm like, okay, gameplay looks mint. Or he jumps into the fucking whatever the fucking vehicle's called. He jumps into it, the Warthog, and it's mint. It's nice and smooth. I'm like, nice. Then he's driving up with the Warthog, and then I see the fucking popping on the grass. And I was like, oh no, that popping is like, it's not even like it's far in the distance. It's really close. And then when you're right,
the Warthog didn't even create any kind of like mud or anything coming off the tires.
It didn't. As well, when he was going up in that elevator thing, that's when I saw the popping in the distance on the mountain. I was like, oh no, this is in rough shape. And at the end, I don't think that was Atriox at the end, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, at the end, that character, like I don't know, his animations looked. It looked rough. It looked like it's a build that's not ready yet. I think that they they had to show it. And I'm gonna be a little bit forgiving on this just because of the whole Pandy situation. But at the same time, you're gonna show Halo, you gotta show it in its best light. I'll say that the combat and the gameplay, that all looked mint. I just the graphics were. You could tell it was an older build, and it's a rough build. You could see that.
Let me jump in. I'm here finally. I'm at work, but
are you here,
I wanted to
Batman?
get on. Sorry if I sound like crap. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry if I sound like shit. But
Gameplay
no,
looked
I
pretty
want
good,
to talk about Halo. So the Halo game, like, to me, I thought the gameplay looked really good. I thought the different mechanics looked really good. The grappling hook looked a lot of fun. Like, I'm glad you can grab things and throw shit at people. I thought that was freaking awesome, kind of showing what, like, Master Chief's strength truly is. The facial animations need work. The last guy that's not Atriox or whatever at the end, I thought he looked really, like, I was like, that's rough.
Yeah.
That needs to be cleaned
I would have
up
never
real
zoomed
quick.
in on that motherfucker's face.
Yeah, I would have never done that. Like, if you're going to zoom in, make sure it's like zooming in like you're going to do with like a Hellblade, like where it's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, that was just not impressive. And I was really like, oh, that's not that good. But the thing I couldn't get out of my head was playing this game with like a friend or, co-op with buddies, like going around the world. That's when they opened up the map. I was in a party with Dealer. He heard me. I was like, oh, dude, that's so awesome.
Mhm.
Like, that's just something that like is different in Halo. And that's something that I can't wait to kind of dive into. Was it flawless? No, it wasn't. Like I said, the animations or the facial animations wasn't flawless. I think some of the pop-ins need some work, and I think that'll be patched out over time. They still have about 2 or 3 months to get the game out.
And who knows where this
but
build is from? Like, it could be a 2-month-old build, maybe.
Yeah, it could be a 2-month-old build, but I just really enjoyed the world. I really enjoyed the combat. I enjoyed how they used the grappling hook. And the one thing I absolutely freaking loved was how many guns they showed. He kept switching guns to different guns, and then every gun had like an awesome weight to it. Like when he hit shit, it was like duke. It had like a thud, and it felt powerful. That's what I liked. I like that stuff.
Halo,
but
though. That's what you do.
Yeah,
Halo.
no,
You
I
switch
thought
guns.
it was great.
Well, there's a lot of guns.
but
They showed a lot of guns.
But
in the
that was a
demo,
lot
so
of guns for
New
a demo,
guns.
dude.
Yeah, they showed a couple of new ones.
And what Zocker said, you could feel the weight of Master Chief when he was hitting people, man. You could feel that extra weight.
I am Ancient
Well, he
Gamer
threw like
says.
a whole freaking bomb at someone.
Yeah,
And
I am
that is-
Ancient Gamer says 3 words: Avowed, Fable, and Halo. Yes, they did show those 3 things, and we're excited for all 3 of those things. We'll get to it. Man, some L's were handed out on Fable, wasn't it? The most obvious game in the universe, and it's real. So again, they did confirm Fable. Also, shout out to 4,000 people watching live, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't.
What are you serious?
Tim Dog just
Jesus.
got eaten by a crocodile in the background. Hit that like button, share with a buddy or 2, retweet, help us out a little bit. We do appreciate it, guys. You make us one of the biggest Xbox podcasts in history. We do appreciate it. And again, guys, we're excited for the future of gaming on both sides. We're excited for all these games that we saw. We're excited for the games we didn't see. We're excited for what we know and what we don't know. We're fans of the brand, but at the end of the day, we're going to point out things like Atriox's cousin's N64 textures on his face. That stuff, as a fan, I'd never seen something like that from Microsoft. Even the last Halo Infinite footage we saw was of a different caliber. And I understand that this is in a real gameplay scenario, but that also kind of makes it a little bit more concerning, and we're going to voice those concerns. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to be fun or that it will be like that at launch. That's important to stress. But we're always going to give you 100% honest opinions on things. Zalker's right. They did show a lot of guns, and the grapple hook accessory, too, was really cool.
Before I forget, too, what Zocker touched on about the weight in those guns, that is something that I felt was missing from Halo 5. So I give you that. It was missing there.
Yeah, and so I that's the stuff I looked forward to, and obviously the world. Like, I thought the world was detailed. I thought it looked like a war-torn, Halo or planet, whatever the hell you want to call it. I thought it looked really like there was a war going on, and like everywhere you went, there was going to be something that you can do. That's something to me that I enjoy. I liked looking at it. It looked like I love Gears 5, but again, the open world of Gears 5 was a little empty. That did not look empty at all. It looked like there was a lot of shit to do. Even when you were driving, he was just running over fools and flying around. Like, I'm so looking forward to that, to playing with like people, co-op, and all that. So I'm looking forward to it. And they didn't even touch upon the multiplayer, like a whole complete asset of the game. Like, they didn't even touch on that. So I don't know, man. This game is going to be massive, and I'm just looking forward to it. I thought it did a really good showing. I think just the facial animations are the big thing where I was like, woof. I was like, all right, what the hell are we doing here?
The animations, they look hand animated, actually, where you would traditionally have those like mocapped or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just weird. And just so everybody knows, I am at work. So if I leave out of nowhere, it's because I'm going to get fired.
It's because your boss walked in. Colt,
He's going to be like, what are you doing? Nothing.
Colt, I want to hear your opinion on Infinite.
My opinion's totally different from you guys, and I guess that's why we make a panel. But I didn't notice the pop in. I was too busy looking at all of the way that the gameplay was shown and the continuous camera and just the feel of the game. I was surprised that it wasn't darker and more gritty. It kind of has that really beautiful, pretty, happy look. But then he starts shooting, and you're like, holy crap. And like Zocker said, all those hard-hitting guns. I watched it back at 4K 60. It's very sharp. But, it's not next-gen looking, because it's not. It's a cross-gen game. It's built to play on PC. It's built to play on the Xbox. And now I can see why these rumors that we've heard that Xbox One will run at pretty low fidelity compared to what we're seeing, this Xbox Series X type footage. So,
and two, you got to stress that the ray tracing wasn't there either. That's one of the reasons. Yeah, you're
seeing baked in or faked in lighting, which is what we're used to in most games. Is to see simulated lighting that can look pretty nice or just look okay.
It should look better.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks really, really super fun. And as far as Atriox's cousin, the first, I was like, yeah, there isn't much detail to him, and they got really close up on him. But then I also remembered that we're used to the blur cinematics from Halo 2 and Halo Wars 2.
Nah, come on.
And I thought they could do a lot more, but everything we're seeing in Halo Infinite will be in-engine, in-game all the time.
Halo 5 was in-engine, in-game all the time.
Well, when they went to cutscenes, like, were they doing anything different? Like, because those look really good when you see Nathan Fillion and Luke Cage.
Those were all in-game, in-engine. Yeah.
So that doesn't make any sense because we know what 343 can do. I mean, the Halo 4 and 5 cinematics. That's
what I say. It's just a rough. It's a very rough build, and it even looked. It almost looked like textures were not loading in on his face.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have any textures on his face.
Exactly,
he was missing some. He was missing a couple of textures on his face, like a couple of layers.
Yeah.
I wonder if 343 felt the pressure that they needed to show as much as they could. And they just said, we got to do what we got to do, because if they decided, look, we're not 100% there ready to show, and they didn't show today, imagine what would happen. Oh my gosh.
Sir X-Man talks about the graphics, says, yeah, I kind of agree, but I really want to hear about the story. And we were talking about that earlier. Apparently this is a living story, meaning it's not really a complete kind of thing right now. Like, they're going to add to it, which is also kind of, in a way, concerning. So
your guest is ready to
kind
join
of a
Dealer.
games as a service, right?
They say no though on that.
Dealer, your guest is ready.
How do you know
Did you
that?
say, Tim?
I was just told by our contact. So he said, let Dealer know that he's waiting. So
So you got to hit him up with the Discord thing.
you got to hit him with the Discord link.
I already sent out the Discord link.
We'll do it again, sir.
Yeah, do it again.
Damn it.
For my take, in the meantime, my take is much like Colt's. I was very in tune with the gameplay and how it looked. I thought it looked very fun. For me, as Halo, the things that I focus on are the things like, I didn't notice any of the popping, but that was because I wasn't looking for it. To be honest, I was kind of focused in on just the player and who was playing and seeing what he was doing. I liked the grappling. I felt that the gameplay looked excellent. Looks really good. What you guys are saying, I believe, is also correct, that it might be a little bit of a rough build. But in the end, I think that they can clean that up. And, I will reserve judgment. I don't think that you can write this game off, or you think it's going to be, I think it's going to be a very quality game, and I'm not really that nervous about it. I did like what I saw. Looks very fun. It looks like it's an open world too, so there's some really good things there that I thought were really cool. Um, so I wasn't as down as someone. You have people on the internet taking obviously there's many people on the screen and you're fighting and the still shots just do not do it justice. They definitely look it doesn't look current gen at all. It doesn't look next gen at all.
Okay, you should be clear to join the RDX live room. I did find him. I didn't see that he joined. Maybe he changed his name, but we got him. I got him. He should be set to go now.
There he is.
Here we go. We got the Major Nelson joining RDX live. How have you been, sir?
This is why I shouldn't click random links in my email. Where did I end up?
Welcome to the show, sir, man. It's good to finally talk to you, man.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you for having me. You got quite a rabble going on here.
Of course. This is the realest Xbox podcast in existence. And we love things about the show. There's certain other things were hit or miss. But I really, again, that's part of you guys and what makes Microsoft do so well in the grand scheme of things. You guys are always so open to feedback and learning, right? If not for that, then we'd still be in 2013. So coming off the show, I'd like to know kind of what were some of the standouts to you and what you're getting great fan reaction from is kind of how, while I come up with some other stuff randomly here, I'd like to kind of hear from you.
Well, I mean, the reaction is a couple things. I love seeing the fan reaction, like yourself and your listeners and everyone across the internet. I love seeing that. The fact that we had 10 world premieres, 9 of our 15 game studios had projects that were shown. It was fantastic. And the fact, I keep getting back to this. I talked to a couple folks earlier. The fact that, hey, Game Pass members, every game you see today, you are going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is an amazing message right there. So, it's simple. It's like, hey, Game Pass, yeah, you're playing these games. It's fantastic.
It's like free games the show, right?
Right. It's your Game Pass show. Game Pass.
Yeah.
But in fact, you're going to play Halo Infinite. You're going to play Psychonauts 2, Avowed as Dusk Falls. The list goes on and on. So that's fantastic.
So something that I was curious about was some of the gameplay elements. We love seeing the gameplay from Halo, and obviously we saw the negative of that is that the game will obviously look better at launch. The ray tracing will come in the future, etc. Some of the popping issues won't be there. But when it comes to games like Avowed, we saw snippets of gameplay, right? That was great. Everwild, that was great. I was actually more interested in that game after I saw that. Whereas some other games that we had already actually seen some footage of, like Hellblade, and I figured Forza Motorsport would be pretty easy. What were the decisions not to show maybe 10 seconds, 5 seconds of maybe Senua walking through a field or something to really cap that off? What was the decision there?
There's a lot that goes into decisions, and the games we showed today were in various stages of development. So I can't really tell you exactly which one wasn't, where it was and how it was, but we wanted to show the depth and breadth of the portfolio. I have to remember, this is the strongest and most creatively diverse lineup of games in Xbox history.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's what we wanted to show. We just wanted to give you a taste of what was going on. We're not just going to show you some action games or some other platformers or some other types of games. This was showing you games of all types in various stages of development. So that's what we wanted to show today.
Gotcha. Avowed looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
You guys been hanging on that one for a minute.
What do you think? What do you think about that one, Howard?
That is Obsidian's
Skyrim.
That's Obsidian's take on let's try to do Skyrim better, kind of like Fallout New Vegas, but not, at the same time.
Yep. Anticipated game for sure.
Yeah.
You know what surprised me actually was Exomecha. That one is that exclusive to Xbox? I'm a little confused on that one.
Well, we're I have to go take a look at that. I haven't looked at the whole list right now in terms of what they are and where they are.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of really great stuff that we've got coming. Again, I want to get back to the fact that Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, I have to say with Avowed, Major Nell, that the thing I liked the most about it was how you guys use that arrow to show how big the world is going to be.
Yeah.
Because not only did you like travel across like the plains and everything, you see everything on top, but then you went in underground, and it showed how expansive that's going to be, like
Well, yeah,
the
I mean,
dungeons and everything. It's
yeah, I mean
huge. That's amazing.
That just looked like a lot of fun. I mean, that's what you're going to get. You're going to see these amazing experiences with next gen. I mean, we've been talking about it for a few months. You know, certainly in December when we announced Xbox Series X, and then we had a lot of moments. We've had a lot of news coming up for the past few months. I've had Jason Ronald on my show to talk about what next gen means in terms of fast access, these worlds that you'll be able to travel around so quickly without these loading times. I mean, it's really extraordinary what we're going to experience and being able to build these huge worlds that things like which we've never seen before.
You know what I noticed, Major, was as you know, there's a controversy. Oh, Xbox is held back, blah blah blah, because they're supporting the original Xbox, which is not really how it works. But apparently, you guys are doing a lot of new things in game design, because I saw a lot of games at the showcase today that did not have Xbox One next to them. They had Series X next to them, no current gen support.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing this much faster and much more aggressively than I think 95% of people thought.
You know, there's a lot going on. I mean, the history that Microsoft has. Look, we work with a bunch of really smart software developers. That's what we are. We're a software company.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at the heritage of the company and how it gets going and what it does and where it has its you know where it makes hay and understands it is exactly in that. So you saw some of that. You know, one thing we haven't really talked about is the fact that we talked about Game Pass a little bit earlier, but you know, the recent news we have where xCloud is going to become part of Game Pass.
Yeah.
So that's another area where we're excelling, and I know a lot of folks are Tim Dog and whatnot are excited about xCloud. I am too. You know, being able to play your games anywhere, anyhow.
So speaking of xCloud, you know, as we all know, part of Game Pass Ultimate is Xbox Live, and there's been a little glitcheroo here lately with Xbox Live. You know anything about that?
Well, I know some questions about that. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. A little.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing something different with Xbox Live here soon. That's what I got out of that call.
Shocked right now.
No.
It's okay. It's okay, Major.
No. We're you know, I just, what are you making reference to? I just want to make sure we're
Basically,
on the same page.
Tim, go ahead and explain that if you want.
No, you can explain that.
Tim,
We're
I'm
talking
getting.
about the 12-month subscription option has been removed, so it looks like Xbox Live Gold is malleable right now, and maybe you guys are changing your approach. That's a nice way to say it.
Well, it's, you know, we're modernizing a lot of our products. If you look across what we're doing, you know, we always want to make sure that we're offering customers what they want and how they want it. So, if you think about that, it's just going to clean up a lot of what we got going on. Make no mistake about it. I mean, Xbox Game Pass is a huge focus for us. Xbox Live is a big part of the conversation. So we're looking at all the time of what we can do to do what customers want, and that's what it's all about.
Basically, Xbox Live is literally. It's a gate against what you're trying to do by bringing games everywhere, and you're trying to smash all that together to get rid of that, make it more cohesive. Is what I get out of it. You don't have to confirm that.
That's fine. Yeah, I don't have anything to announce today around that. I could just say that we're constantly tweaking things left and right to make sure that we're doing the right things for the customers and for our business and for our partners.
Gotcha. Something that you just focused on was some of the technical aspects of the new system. We're all hyped. We know it's extremely capable. We've been talking about how it's going to be the best platform to play all your multi-platform games on console for well over a year. And the games are going to get even better and better looking than people even understand as time goes naturally. Do you guys have any idea? Because I get this question a million times. I get murdered if I couldn't. But I mean, you guys have any idea when you might announce a pre-order date or anything like that for this thing, so people can stop asking me?
Yes, I do.
He said, "Yes, I do." I would not tell you. So, do you have a secret August event?
We have not confirmed any additional events or details or dates anytime in the future. Right now, we're focused on the game showcase of what we showed today.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're really focused on, and we're going to continue. I mean, we've all experienced quite a change in our lifestyles over the past, where are we, 7 months with COVID and everything that's going on. So we're really, trying to figure out what that means.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, when we do have something to tell you, you'll be the first to know. Okay.
Gotcha.
I also found that, honestly, you were talking about Game Pass earlier. I have to say that I was extremely impressed that, was it pretty much every single game that was shown is going to be on Game Pass?
Yeah,
I feel like every single game there.
Yeah, Phil mentioned that at the top of the show, and that's an important point and I reiterated this on Twitter after the show. Like, hey, every game we're going to show will be available on Game Pass.
Wow.
Okay, that's
insane.
Amazing.
Like, I literally was actually trying to nitpick that. I was looking, I was like, this game's not going to be there. Then every single game, and you guys hit it home that it's going to be there. Even Destiny and all these other games, and I was like, man, you guys are really supporting that platform, and it's amazing.
Yeah, well,
I'm a huge fan.
People, this is what people want. They want to be able to. Look, there's so many games out now, and where am I going to spend my hard-earned money on? And we try to lower that barrier and go, look, subscribe to this, and you can try out all of these games, and you can play one, you can play two, you can play them all. There's almost 200 games in the catalog right now. It's extraordinary.
Man, somehow I just try to wrap my mind around how people say that that's nothing but pro-consumer, right? I mean, it used to be back in the day, you go rent a game for $5 or $10 for a week. Now you're renting 200 for $10 for a month, Day and day. And you can really look at it as a way of reducing a Series X purchase.
I'm hoping that with all of the money that people are saving by trying out games, that people like Tim Dog can actually get a real microphone and a computer to join us. That's what.
Hey, listen, I
got him.
Work.
Yeah.
I'm borrowing Greenberg's. So I just got one thing to say, and I'll tell you why I think, and you mentioned it, and why I felt the show is a success is because I said all prior week, that they have to show what they have. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I want the gameplay. Obviously, you want that, but probably, like you said, in developmental cycles, they're at a certain point that they might not be ready. But what you guys did basically was show, I think, 6 AAAs. I mean, State of Decay, that even though it's CGI, that looks great. It kind of, shows what you guys are gunning for, what Undead Labs is. So for me, the show is a complete success because you guys, there's no games for Xbox. I mean, that's just, if you count it, it's 5 AAAs.
I also, Tim, thank you for pointing that out. I also want to point out it's an incredibly varied, a diverse lineup of games creatively. So if you want to have your racing games, check. If you want to have your, a Fable, check. Thank God, Fable. I can't wait to play that. We've got that. You want Tetris? Hey, we got for Tetris. Warhammer, Dark Tide. Look at that. Phantasy Star 2 Online, Stalker 2. The list goes on and on and on. So it's, if you want to play a wide, diverse variety of games, Xbox is where you're going to want to do that.
Yeah, and again, they'll look best. And a lot of them will be on Game Pass. I feel like you can't really beat it right now.
Well, then not only are they going to play, they're going to look best, but you're going to be able to play them wherever you want, because a lot of these are going to be on xCloud.
Super facts.
Destiny 2 was a big.
And I will say that diversity of games is actually, I think you guys have been doing that for a while. I don't think this show is the only thing that has shown that. I mean, I've played Gears Tactics, I've played Minecraft, like everything you guys have brought out this last year has been extremely diverse. I feel like I'm getting a different experience every time I turn on a game from Xbox, and that's something that I've said before is going to happen again when you guys show this.
Yeah, we've seen this, and it's great. I mean, if you want third-person action adventure games, we've got that. You want racing games, we've got that. So that's what we're trying to do here. We're very excited about what we showed today, and I'm really excited about what we've got to show later this year. So anyway, I got to bolt, guys, because I've got more to do.
It's good talking to you, Major.
Pleasure's been all mine. I mean, I love what you guys are doing, and I want to thank you for everything you guys do for the community. Thank everybody here in the chat and watching online. So if you want to hit me up on at Major Nelson on Twitter. You know how to find me.
No, again, appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing it for the show, for the fans, and thanks for being a cool guy and joking around with us, man.
All right, anytime. Everybody stay safe out there, and we'll see you on Xbox Live. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. See you.
See you.
Later.
Later.
Also, shout out and again, shout out to Major Nelson. He didn't have to come on here and do that. he didn't have to tolerate my fucking prying. Hey, August event, you know, like. But
I loved it.
you know what? That's the thing with Microsoft, and you can't deny it. They are connected with the fans better than any other gaming company. I don't foresee. I had never seen a single Sony executive come onto a podcast, and if they have, it's very rare. So again, so someone like Major Silver Fox himself come out and chill on a podcast that's not corporate backed. We say whatever the fuck we want, and we're honest, and we get the best feedback I think around. That means something. A shout out to over 5,000 people joining us live too, by the way.
Over 5,000.
Especially.
Okay. All right. Hit the like button, and of course share it out, buddy.
Tim's doing the gremlins, like eating popcorn, laughing his head off.
He's dying from laughing gas. Oh my god. Yeah, hit the like button, share it out, hit the retweet. We do appreciate it, guys. Subscribe. We got all the latest and greatest. We got more guests in the future, and that's another guest added to a long line of pretty cool guests to have on the show.
One of the things, Dealer, that I think that you freaking pressed him on, and I think I loved his answer, was with the Xbox Live thing. You know, to me, reading between the lines, man, they might actually go with the free multiplayer thing. You know?
There was no reading between the lines. Like, I think it's coming. I think
That's true,
the Xbox
man.
Live Gold paywall is going to be removed, and it's going to burn. I know Xbox did it first, but I mean, the rest of the industry, you know, with Nintendo Online and PlayStation Plus follows suit, and I don't think PlayStation is going to budge from that anytime soon. I think if they do push Xbox Live Gold for free for the launch of this generation, PlayStation will eventually have to follow suit a couple years or at the end of the generation or maybe next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox has positioned themselves with Game Pass. They're finally making money on the service, and they're bringing so many people to the platform. They're making a bunch of money right now that they have decided we just got to bite the bullet. And if they're making $1 billion a year from Xbox Live, like, they're making it somewhere else, and that's how business works.
Well,
Go ahead,
did you guys get that feeling that, like, when he was answering that, how he's saying, like, we're listening to what people want and stuff like that?
Well, there's no way that he's going to ruin the delivery thunder of that.
But of course he's not going to say that. But did you get that same? That was going through my head when he was saying that. Were you guys thinking the same thing?
Well, I think they have stuff in the works, but I also think that Game Pass might have pushed things forward because Colt is saying it. They are making money off of Game Pass, but I don't think they were prepared to make money this quickly off of it. This is like making platforms like that, like Disney Plus or whatever you want to call anything. They've said that, like, we don't think it's going to be profitable for 5 to 7 years. And then it will be after a while when we invest in it. That's what everybody says. And Game Pass has over 10 million, people. It's far past 10 million now if you think about
15,
it when they announced
probably
that.
12.
It's like probably like 12 to 15, and like they're making money off of Game Pass right now. So that's why you see this huge influx of games being dropped in there, and that's why you see this huge influx of money being put into Xbox's gaming, because it's profitable already when they didn't expect it to.
And
So that's something
that
that's big for
Warhammer
me.
game is going to be a console launch exclusive on Xbox first, but it's also going to be on Game Pass. Like, there are so many things. It's kind of hard to digest the event, and I would put it at around an 8. It was pretty good, and there was things that could be improved, but like this is a good start.
Hey, I want to give a shout out real
honestly,
quick.
the Obsidian thing made it an 8.8 for me.
Just to harp on what Major Nelson said about Game Pass, I really believe that the Game Pass numbers are about to really skyrocket, because he's right. Today they did show a diverse lineup of games, and all will be in Game Pass. And also, too, I think the writing is pretty much on the wall when they removed, like, they didn't remove all of the Game Pass on their site. They removed, like, the option for, like, 6 months a year. The 3-month option is still there, which would kind of state that this thing is coming within the 3 months, the announcement, right? So I think next generation, when xCloud gets added to it, which is coming real soon, I think it's a wrap, man. I think that service is going to become the de facto service for the Xbox, and you're right. They're not going to need Xbox Live because they're going to be making all the money with Game Pass.
Hey, let me give a shout out to GameOnDaily.com real quick. I want to do that because, again, their link is down below, and I told them that I'm 100% pushing this website at least a few more times, because Fantastic website. If you want to get all your topics in one spot, they smack it all together for you. They don't take websites revenue, and it's all very well laid out. I mean, again, just check out the link down below. Give it a click after the show, and just look around if you want to find out everything that happened today and more, like the fact that ray tracing won't be there at launch for Halo, or several other details we'll discuss. It's all in one spot, and that's GameOnDaily.com. Down in the description, check it out. That is my pitch for today. We want to talk about, so we talked about Halo and how the gameplay looks phenomenal. We talked about some of the technical issues. We talked about how it's a rough build, how the ray tracing won't be there at launch, how the story is kind of one of those that they're going to add over time, which I have my concerns about. We did not talk about State of Decay 3 yet, which is cool. I was just telling A Squad yesterday, 100%. This is a real game. Not sure if they'll announce it, but they did. Be a cinematic trailer where Bambi comes back for revenge against a chick with a crossbow. I didn't see any zombies in this trailer, though. Chat, let us know what you think about that, by the way. And hit the like button if you haven't. Share it out. We do appreciate it, guys. Over 5,000 watching. State of Decay 3. I'm hoping they bring it back a little bit more, a little bit more resources tied into this one. Some visuals, etc. I mean, anybody else? Colt, yeah, you had some.
I agree.
I'm fond. Yeah, you're a fan of State of Decay 2, but it has its problems.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it has its problems. Look, to me, it's the visuals. All right, the way your character runs, the animations, it's very janky. If they improve upon that, I'll be back in for State of Decay 3. Also, it was the lag and the way it would just chug along, with the current hardware. So we shouldn't have that issue.
We didn't get a lot from the trailer, but yeah, the game's probably a little ways out.
The one thing I got from the trailer is I remember when they first promoted State of Decay 2, it was 4 people together in a car. This one, she's by herself completely. No one else is there, and it seems very survivalistic, and like I don't know if they're changing some things up, but for me to see just one person surviving on their own does kind of put a different spin on it for me.
This game better have co-op.
Yeah, they better.
I think it will have co-op, but like I think it's more of a like maybe they might put a little bit more of a story in there with characters or something where you could play alone.
And you can scream at bears.
That's the biggest takeaway.
Right?
Huh?
You can scream at animals in the woods, right?
Well, I don't know, and that's the other thing. Like they really emphasized that scream. Like that was weird. I was like, "What is that? Like why?"
Yeah.
Like it was loud. Like it was very prominent.
It was visceral.
So. Yeah, it was very like, but it looked good, man. Like I thought that game, like I didn't like State of Decay 2. Then I played it with Dealer for like a week straight, and we played hours of it. And I was like, all right, this game's fun. Like it's good. Like, and I hope they build upon that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not reading too much into the trailer since it was a cinematic. As far as what the game will offer, obviously, I think the only thing to take from that is that animals can be zombified, which would be pretty cool because obviously there'll be human zombies. The other thing to take away is that there'll be a winter area, or it will take place in a winter area, and that if you look at State of Decay 1 and State of Decay 2, the visual jump, which was marginal, and then you transfer that up to 3, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, it'll look like what it's supposed to be, but State of Decay's Undead Labs is a smaller team. There's a couple hundred people there now, and that game is actually really good, has really great potential. And I enjoyed State of Decay 2 even more when I went back and played the Juggernaut edition when they kind of changed the visuals up. So,
cool. After State of Decay 3's pre-rendered cinematic, Phil came out and once again absolutely claiming absolute power king, blah, 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 all the stuff we know. They talked about being the most consistently powerful everywhere pretty much. And then that led them into a real-time kind of garage engine thing for motorsport where they did show off the ray tracing bouncing off the helmets, the reflections on the floors. They showed some trackside stuff. I noticed instantly when they showed that the cars racing down the corkscrew on Laguna Seca, there was definitely more detail on the side of the track. The trees, the textures and stuff like that. I don't know how far out this game is. I figured 3 years is enough for a racing game. 3.5 years maybe. I figured maybe March, April or something. But Phil did say, as Darge Knight pointed out, I didn't hear it. He said early development on this game. And I'm like, well, damn, like, what's been going on? Have they been putting in some engine work, I would imagine, right? And maybe that's where their focus has been. But they're already been testing it internally, which I did a video on, right? This is a while back they said this stuff. So I don't know where this game's at. I don't like the fact that they didn't show you a 10-second clip of a car going around a few corners or a 5-second spot of a cockpit view. That was kind of the weak point of the whole show, in my opinion, was they showed the Halo stuff. Pretty much every other first-party game, they didn't show you any gameplay whatsoever, at least from the gameplay perspective, which is what we mean by gameplay. But it looked pretty good, right, D?
Yeah, it looked amazing. I was just about to say that the ray tracing, like, holy shit. When I saw this game, I was like, yes, this is next gen. This is only capable on the Series X. The level of detail was fucking absurd, to be really honest with you. I can't wait just to dissect that video.
Did they say that was only on Series X? Was there only a Series X logo there?
I'll tell you that from what I saw, that's definitely not running on Xbox One. So
and they changed the name too. That's what it's saying. They changed it to just Forza Motorsport.
yeah. Also, too, one thing I did notice was a little bit disappointing. Although they said it's going to be 4K 60 with ray tracing, which is fucking amazing. The trailer was actually just 4K. It wasn't 60 frames per second. So it was a little bit disappointing in that.
I saw.
It was
that.
weird that they were like, "Hey, we're gonna stream this." They're like, "We're gonna stream this at 1080p 60, right?" And we're like, "Yes."
No.
And then they didn't really show you any gameplay that actually showed the 60 FPS off, which is I just found that weird.
Some games did, but this game definitely didn't. This was a prime candidate to show 4K 60. They should have. You're right. They should have showed the car going around the track, even if it was for fucking 10 seconds, like you said, just to show us a little bit of something. And the fact that Phil's saying that this is an early in development, that kind of caught me off guard, to be honest with you, when he said that. I wasn't expecting this game this year because we've heard rumors it's not launching this year. But I thought early next year, like March, it would come out, and it's looking like it's not the case. And it could just very well be due to the pandemic. They're having issues there, and it's
damn pandy
bad for them. So
hey, shout out to Dark CMF. Also, he says also with Sony is your deal. Sony is actually subsidizing free online play for Xbox Live. Win-win. Yeah, I guess so. I don't get paid by them motherfuckers. I don't really care what they're getting money off of. Geek in the chat, he says, how many games you think they held back? Several. And I don't think they could have really afforded to hold a lot back, and they did it again, which is something. Again, I don't think it was a bad show. I'd probably give it a 7.8, maybe an 8, maybe if I'm in a good fucking mood. But ultimately, I feel like they held a little bit too much back. They didn't show us gameplay of stuff that we know is closer than Everwild and Avowed. They showed Avowed, they showed Everwild gameplay stuff, but they didn't show stuff like the motorsport games, which I feel like would be very simple to show a few seconds, and Hellblade, which they already showed us an in-engine pre-rendered thing. They could have showed a few seconds of her walking through a field or something. I feel like something that, because let's be honest, Infinite's technical issues gave a lot of people a lot of ammo. And, you needed something that had a little more polish on it. Just some straight 5 seconds of someone doing something, chopping a guy. Didn't matter, It really didn't matter to me. I just wanted a little bit more. But at the end of the day, this was one of their better. It was definitely a billion times better than last E3. And, they did announce a lot of stuff here. So let me the motorsport stuff. I mean, Tim, what'd you get out of the motorsport stuff before we move on?
I think it's gonna be like I said. I'm sorry I have a bad mic. I think it's gonna be a totally new engine. I think it's far away though. I don't think it's close, which was a little bit surprising. But I think Forza is gonna. Once again, set the bar. I think that, Turn 10 is the best. And there's nobody that's going to come close to them. And I think, they're going to have a new engine. They might have less cars, but this is like going to be a complete reboot. And I'm very happy. I think Forza 8, they did enough with 7 that you pretty much couldn't do anything else. Now, I think that you're going to get the more of a simulation, but I was happy with that. I think that's going to be. I think they're working hard on that, and it might be a 2021 game launch at holiday, or it might be a 2022.
I'm hoping that game comes out early next year, man. Despite what Phil said, that would be nice.
Well, for me, it's like you have to have something new, and I think that they're going for something new, and I appreciate that. Plus, you're also going to have Forza Horizon, which might come next year. It's because that'll be in its 3rd year as well. So, You know, Playground is just not. You know, they're still making car games too. So, you know, it's an exciting time. Like I said, the reason why I felt the show was a success was because we've heard Xbox has no games. That is now, you cannot say that. You're going to get more updates on these games. You know, right now they have, you know, 6 AAAs that are scheduled for this gen. You know, next gen. A lot of people aren't talking about it, but a lot of those games like Fable and I think Everwild were just Series X. I think even Forza was just Series X.
Yeah.
So, you know, just like the cross-gen thing, I think people blew that out of proportion. You're talking maybe three games at most, you know, or 2 games. Like I said, I think should be happy to be an Xbox fan today. You know, we keep pushing the envelope, and you know,
I think the problem though, Tim, is the fact that I think Microsoft needed to knock this out of the park in many more ways than, you know, you might assume they did. When it comes to success, to me, maybe it was a successful Game Pass showcase, but for really showcasing what the X can do, the Series X, it really didn't do that, and it didn't really hype you up for next gen. It more so hyped you up for Game Pass if you're a fan for Game Pass.
I mean, I was hyped up for like their first party. Their first party went up a notch or two. Like, you gotta, because again, the reason that we might not feel that way as much as we should is because we knew half this shit was real. So like Fable, we knew about, we just didn't see. I figure that game's been in development for years now, a couple years I think, and I figured maybe we get a little snippet of something from that game.
But yeah, here's the problem: you got Hellblade 2. We should have seen gameplay from Hellblade 2.
Yeah,
we should have seen that today. That. Showing that gameplay is a fail.
But you can't if there are certain aspects of the game that aren't ready. It could make the entire gameplay showing pointless.
But didn't they just do that with Halo?
Yeah, look what happened to that. But that's what I'm saying. The ray tracing's not ready. They're in the middle of a pandemic. They want
that's
to.
True too.
They want.
They're getting.
They, you know, Phil talked about we're not sure if Halo Infinite's going to be ready for the launch of the console. We want it to be, but if it's not ready, we'll wait.
Which is the good way to do it.
Which is a good way to do it. But to show you something, it's like it wasn't consistent to say, well, maybe Halo Infinite is only at 80% ready to show, but we really, like maybe 343 said, we really want to show it. And Xbox said, okay, let's give us what you got.
I mean, they have to fucking show it. They're saying it comes out holiday 2020. They're still saying that.
And I don't know when Hellblade comes out, but we saw some cinematic stuff from Hellblade last year, and like you said, they could have shown her walking through a couple of environments, but maybe there's something in the development.
We saw more last year, Colt. That's the problem. We saw more of that game last year, and it's insane. A year later, you can't show even, you know, CGI, not CGI, but in-game footage, something like you just say, hey, we're building this in Iceland, this game, and go to our website.
Yeah, nobody cared that it was in Iceland except for one guy in Iceland. I said that in the party earlier. Like, that's definitely, to have a guy come out and just tell you it's in Iceland. And then I'm like, okay, now's the part where they give you, you know, 5 second, 10 second gameplay or something.
I'm not trying to be.
Nope.
I'm really not trying to harp on Xbox. You know, look, it's great that we have these Game Pass games. It's amazing it really blew my mind when that, you know, he said all these games are going to be in Game Pass. You guys all know I'm a big fan of Game Pass. You know, me and my kids love Game Pass, but you know, this was the show to be. This was their big E3 moment. This is their big Series X moment for me. That's what it should have been about, and it just wasn't that. It was a good show, but it wasn't like a fantastic blow your mind show that it should have been.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, and two, Halo might look good to some, might look bad to others, or definitely rough spots as we covered earlier. But this game is not even close to showing you what the Series X can do right now. So just looking at it, I mean, again, ray tracing is one of the most demanding effects in the history of video games. They didn't even have it on. They wasn't even here. So this shows you how much more is left in that box on top of just not glitching everywhere and stuff. So Blue Moon FC, by the way, says, big up to RDX panel. You guys show me a very quality community. Thank you, sir. And the Downer, shout out to you, buddy. $50 super chase says, overall show grade B-. Everwild was game of the show. Everwild was surprising, actually. He says by far the best showing.
We still don't know what Everwild is going to
Yeah,
do.
we don't.
It's a
We have no
four-player
idea.
animal kind of like they're using animals to build things and to tell.
Like,
I don't know.
Are
It's
you
weird.
going to walk around and hold the Y button and you dance around a dead deer and it gets up and headbutts a vending machine? I don't know what. I mean, it looks pretty cool. I don't know if it looks like my game, but I still don't know what the crap Everwild is after 8 months.
And that's why I get kind of weirded out when people say, well, they didn't show Hellblade and X, Y, and Z because it wasn't ready. And I'm like, Everwild is further out than fucking Hellblade. And Avowed is years out. So they still managed to show you a snippet of what that game's going to look like. And they didn't show you Forza.
But I would rather them do that. I would rather them say, here's what's coming in the future.
Yeah, me
than
too.
to stick with what Phil said like a year ago. He was like, we don't want to show anything until we know it's ready.
Exactly.
Because what that does is like they do the event and they're like they don't have any games.
Yeah, you're right, Colt, because that was my most anticipated game now for Xbox. Coming from first party, that is my most anticipated game. Is Avowed.
Yeah.
And the thing that was funny about that is I just have to touch on this because I think it was a really bright moment for the show. And it made me laugh, okay? When Obsidian started with Grounded, at first I was oh no, here it is.
I was thinking about you.
And then they started in with the, if you want the biggest game of this year, wait for Cyberpunk 2077. And then they go into all these other jokes. They were so self-aware.
Yes.
It was so enjoyable to watch that trailer and listen to the jokes because they were self-aware. That was an amazing part of the show. Like, to me, that was just like, okay, good one, Obsidian.
They recovered the
Xbox.
Grounded segment, didn't they?
That's because
and then they went into the developer speech at the end, and I said, oh no, they're going to deep dive this game now. But no, he said, here's Avowed, and I just, in my mind, I'm going, yes, this is like it. I get the Oblivion feels, I get the Skyrim feels from this game, and just look what Obsidian did with Fallout. They made the best Fallout game there was, in my opinion. Yep. And what are they going to do with this now? A game like Skyrim. It's so mind-blowing, like what they can do here.
I think Obsidian knows they're trying to show that they know that they have 13 people working on Grounded, and they know that people have this certain idea of kind of the cheesiness of Grounded, even though it's getting kind of a pretty good reception. They know that they have their teams working on the DLC for Outer Worlds, and then they're going to bring like this new Skyrim, which at this point might come out before Elder Scrolls 6.
No, Downer. I mean, that's basically what he's saying in the rest of the Super Chat. He was kind of disappointed in certain aspects of the Infinite showing, and really some of the games that were really just videos of montages, not actual gameplay, like where's Ninja Theory, and I agree, buddy. You'd probably give it a little higher score. I might be at an 80. I'm not sure, man, but I think I'm at a 7.8 for it. That's still not a bad score. I thought it was barely better than the Sony showing in certain areas. I do like that
definitely better than Sony.
I definitely like that.
Definitely better. These Sony guys are delusional, saying, "Tim, you don't answer it," but yet they were.
We didn't see gameplay of Spider-Man Miles Morales, and that game is already like pre-built on the original game and being pushed up, but that game's going to get ray tracing.
That might be why they didn't show you the gameplay, because it's gonna look a lot like Spider-Man PS4, right? With basically, it's gameplay wise.
But the fact of the matter is that it's to the point that Xbox always seems to be graded on the curve, and the bottom line is that right now they got the most powerful system. They definitely have the games coming. Believe in the pedigree of the developers that they're pushing out. I'd rather have them announce the games and do this rather than not announce, because guess what?
Yep.
If they did not show Fable and they did not show Obsidian and they had Halo and that was the highlight of the show, you guys would be telling me to get the hell off the show.
I mean, if you were damage control and they didn't show Fable, we'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Tim? Like, it's been almost 5 years. Like, it's time to show stuff.
So I think that it's kind of a catch-22 in the sense, but I'm really excited just for the fact that they're just getting started, man. I think more developers are coming. I think Game Pass is. I think Xbox Live is going to be free. The paywall is going to go. We got to see what they have with Lockhart. But I think I'm just I'm just at the point where I've been negative, or people have been negative for 7 years straight, constantly banging on Xbox. It has gotten better. It has done a lot of good things, but we're always asking for the next best thing, which is good in a way. But I just think there comes a point where you gotta give a little bit of credit, or you gotta just say that they're doing that.
I think we do give credit though, Tim, on this show. I think each panel member here gives a lot of credit where it's due. It's just that you also have to criticize when it's due too. And I'm sorry. I mean, if you look at the show at what it's supposed to be about, it just didn't hit that mark.
Yeah, next gen.
It didn't hit that narrative that you wanted.
It didn't push the power very well. It didn't actually show you much gameplay from first party either.
That's all gonna come out. That's
where this is the spot, Tim. This is the spot. Rise Son of Rome, Hellblade 2. Give me a moment. Fuck.
To be fair, though, Microsoft did say yesterday though that this is an Xbox game showcase, so you're not just gonna see Xbox Series games. So they did kind of put that out.
But most of these games, a lot of them from them were only on Xbox Series X. Like.
But
yeah, and we didn't see any.
We also said we're not going to temper expectations either.
Yep. Done doing it.
It sounds like some of you are.
You know what? Can I say real quick?
I don't think I am, because I haven't said it for the straight. You have to say I said it 3 times on 7 different shows, because I've been on the show every week. Wait, they have to show IPs. They have to show everything.
And they did.
Remember going into this, what we were saying? Xbox got no games. They got no games.
Where's the games at?
Games. Now we got games. Now it's Xbox got no games.
Now Xbox got no face textures.
Xbox got no what?
Can I say real quick though?
Xbox got N64 face textures. Yeah.
When the games come out, I think everything is gonna. I think people just overreact sometimes. I think when Halo comes out, that it's going to be very good. I think it's still going to be good. It's still going to be a lot of play.
I'm not saying it's going to be bad, Tim. I'm excited for it. I want to see what it's all about. 343 needs to make Halo their, its own, but the way it showed today was just not in a good light. It
really?
Well, you were saying pre-show that you liked it.
I liked it gave me Halo Combat Evolved vibes. It did, and it still does, Tim. But my point is the way the pop-ins were coming in, the way the textures were, the way it was.
Holy crap! I mean, I can see. It's so weird that I didn't even
watch
notice
it in
that.
4K 60.
I did. I
4K
didn't.
60. The grass is a bit muddy, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know why I didn't notice that. Like I watched it live. It looked really cool, and the bitrate was low because it was streamed. But then when I went back and capped it at 4K 60, I was just watching the gameplay. Like, wow, it just looks so fun, and it has like that. I don't know. It just doesn't look dark and gritty, but it reminds me of Doom Eternal so much. It's like half Doom Eternal, half Combat Evolved. It doesn't look next gen because it's not a next gen title. It's a cross gen title.
Next gen feature. They don't have it yet, right?
Yeah, it needs a ray. I didn't know that until I got into the show. I missed that part about the
ray tracing comes at a later date, so no ray tracing in this demo. And again, not that we don't. This game will look fine when it comes out. Don't get us wrong. We're just kind of asking ourselves why we've never seen. This is basically their E3, and we've never seen a big debut of gameplay like this. And it can't have these kind of glaring compromises from Xbox.
It can't look less than Halo 5. I've played a lot of Halo 5. I was playing a lot of Warzone this past couple months, and Halo 5. I know people harp on it, and I don't love the game. Like I liked it. It is an absolutely gorgeous game. It looks so good throughout the entire campaign, and there's no way that Infinite looks less than 5.
It looked better to me.
No, it doesn't look less.
Can I just say
it should look a lot better than 5.
Yeah,
a lot of
miles better. That's my problem. It looked, the gameplay looked great. The added grapple hook and everything, that looked fire, man. But I'm just saying, when you look at it, what this show's supposed to be. You want to see a Series X showcase. We didn't get that. Even with this gameplay, we were being told that this gameplay was going to be mind-blowing, and it wasn't.
What?
I don't know. I want to say
I was pretty excited.
The games that we saw today, I don't know what everybody's looking at. Like, was the show perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. But when I saw what's that game? Exomecha. I can't even say the fucking name. When I saw that fucking game looked impressive, especially for a fucking free to play. I was really impressed with that. Fucking Forza looked amazing. I don't know what people are looking
Baby's
at.
back,
The
bitch.
medium, the medium also looked really good. We got a good short.
Hey, I was actually, and the medium was one of the, and this is weird because this comes from like the Layers of Fear team, the Blair Witch team, but that game, the way they showed it, it looked more interesting and kind of more impressive than most stuff at the show.
Definitely. Stalker 2 looked fucking good. Like what are people looking at? And Fable, come on, Fable. And they're keeping the humor of Fable. Like that was a fucking awesome trailer. And even State of Decay 3, if they're going to target the visuals that they showed us in that CGI presentation,
Which
that
they
game
won't.
is going to be a hit, because that's the only thing stopping State of Decay from being a big game is the fucking janky animations and like the subpart graphics. But overall, the show was good. Like, what did we see from Sony's show? Basically, the stand-up from the show was Ratchet and Clank. Yes, we got some gameplay from that. We saw some Forza. I'm sorry, Forza. we
Gran
saw some
Turismo, we got a lot of gameplay.
We did not
I
see
don't want
games.
to start.
Hey,
Look,
guys, we didn't see any games that were going to be releasing on PlayStation at the same day. That's there was I don't know, I would say I can't remember how many games they showed at the PS5 event, but there was a handful of games that are coming to Xbox. I think there are. We didn't see any third-party like multi-plat games that they normally would partner with. Like last year, we saw Devil May Cry and stuff like that, and Metro Exodus. Like they didn't take time to push games that they partnered with in this event that will come out on possibly Switch and PS4.
I'm going to chop a lot of it up. It's got to be the pandemic,
Two of the panel members already mentioned the PS5 event, and my issue here is that we shouldn't even bring up the PS5 event, because the PS5, the Sony does not have to win people over. Xbox does. And that's my problem here with this overall show.
I think Sony should have to win people over because they're not doing a lot of stuff as good as Xbox.
No, but they don't have to win anybody over. All you hear all around, the mind share is PS5, PS5, PS5. That's what everybody's talking about.
And that's why Xbox should have went above and beyond and not held stuff back.
This is why, exactly. This is why they shouldn't hold anything back today. They shouldn't have held anything back. And they should have shown Halo in a better light. It's just, to me, it's just, look, I don't even think it was a bad show. It just wasn't a good show for next gen, going into next generation. It didn't hit. It didn't hit that mark.
Hans, what about Crossfire X? You were not impressed with what you saw with that game?
Oh, no. I like some of these games, but some of the games you're mentioning aren't first party.
Crossfire
first party.
I'm pretty sure Crossfire X is just on the Xbox. I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah, for launch. It's a launch exclusive.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't think any of us give this show a bad score. It's just it's the little shit that always holds back Microsoft, and I feel like just a couple 5 or 10-second snippets of gameplay after they did it with Avowed. That game is years out, people.
I need to take a minute to express my love and admiration for the Crumpet Master Darj Knight. He's the best.
Game on Daily and Super Chat says, thanks for the shout out, dealer. The Grounded Gamer is absolutely spot on. This show was going to set the scene for the rest of the generation, and they didn't really they didn't capitalize on that, did they? So
yeah, but then you say that people say that, but then the next show, everyone's saying the next thing next time when they have the August show.
I mean, Tim, if they would have just shown fucking 5 seconds of Forza and 5 seconds of Hellblade, I wouldn't even be saying nothing.
They showed 5 AAAs, bro. They showed a ton of games. Obviously they're not going to all be ready.
So what would you give the show, Tim?
I gave the show a 9 because I said from the start that they have to show the games if they're not ready or not, because that was the thing. Xbox has no games. How many times have I heard people say Xbox doesn't have a new AAA, AAA?
I get it. Yeah, you're taking that ammo, but at the same time, The people that say Xbox have no games, like, who gives a fuck? We know the
Yeah, who
games are on the
cares?
way.
I understand, but that is something that's been pushed. How many times have you hear journalists say the same thing? They have to prove this and that.
This gave people
Well,
something to
this
look
is
forward
just-
to, is what you're saying.
This, yeah, you tons to look forward to, and when they show it, and when they
In
show
Game
Fable,
Pass, yeah.
when they show everything, I think everyone will be just equally excited. Say, listen, we gamers just live in the day, and that's just something about us. We live within the day, and there's no tomorrow. But I think overall, just looking from the way things are going, they're in very good position. Obviously we got to learn more about the games. Everwild looks great, but we don't know what it is. Fable, they're saying there's a rumor that's an MMO. I don't think that's true. I think that if
Hopefully
anything,
not. Like,
has
just start at the basics and
No.
give us a damn RPG. Everwild,
Yeah,
by the way,
but I think it's always been rumored to be an open world RPG. So I wouldn't, but I would if it was a guess, I would have a problem with that.
Everwild, I don't think that's on old systems either, Tim. So that's
Yeah, that was another surprise. They had some of, I don't know, Forza wasn't on old systems, so all this holding back generation was all for 3 games that we were all crazy about.
well,
For
you
me,
can,
it
Can I give a huge shout out to Lethal Papa for busting his rear end right now?
Oh, I know.
Keeping this chat
He really is.
normal. Like, Lethal's a good friend of ours. We get to talk to him every week, sometimes every day when we can, and he's amazing. So give him some love in the chat, guys. He's busting his butt right now.
yeah, Lethal's his finger's
know-
gonna be broke like Master Chief in
I
Halo
think
4.
I think when it's all said and done, it'll be more of a positive as the time goes on. I think Halo
I know a lot of
definitely will show itself better than it did. I think it'll be a good game.
It'll look great. It'll play great.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And like I said, I think they're going to show a lot more. They still have a lot in the back pocket too.
Okay,
And,
Tim, what was one game that you really didn't like, you hated, that was shown today?
Well, everything was
Like when a game came up, you're like, oh gosh.
He's like,
just
what?
some of
That's a possibility?
I was getting worried at the end. To be honest, I was getting worried at the end with getting console exclusives like PlayStation, these console launch exclusives like
World premiere.
the Sega game, and I'm like getting annoyed because I had heard a number in my head that I actually was told, and I'm like, dude, they're not going to announce Fable, and I think if they didn't announce Fable, I would have 9 to like, I would have probably failed them because they need to get Fable out. Obviously, it didn't. We don't know much about the game still, so but at least they got it out there. We know it's coming. I honestly, they had so much show, that so much information, so many things coming to Game Pass that I was happy. I watched the show. I didn't let anybody influence me. I just watched it. I didn't go in any forums. Watched the show from top to bottom. And when, including the pre-show, and when they showed State of Decay, I was excited about that because I really liked the way it looked, and I think that they're going to be going for, from all that I've heard too, they're going to be going for a AAA, a real AAA. I know last time they said they were AAA, but like that looked like obviously what they're going to be gunning for. But when they showed the Obsidian game, I was like, wow, they're showing a ton of stuff. I says all they gotta do is show Fable, and they've done it. They've gotten this game narrative out there, and I think that they did. I just think that it's far for the course. For whatever reason, Microsoft is gonna get criticism no matter what, in my opinion.
I get the criticism though. Like, that doesn't mean it's a bad show.
Yeah, I get the criticism, but I just don't see.
What if Fable wasn't there, Tim? What would you be saying right now?
He said he would have failed it.
You would have gave it a failing grade if Fable wasn't there? I think
That's what he said.
Drove off a cliff.
earlier. He said that if Fable wasn't there,
Yeah,
he
I
would
would
have
have.
failed it.
I would have went. Excuse my language. I would have went crazy if they didn't show Fable, and I was very nervous that they.
Okay.
But in the end, they did. I mean, we can count 6 AAAs right now.
Yeah, and that's good. Nobody's complained about the amount of AAAs they've
I
announced.
understand, but we also got to understand pedigree. I mean, the pedigree of Obsidian. We know that they're freaking.
And they showed
Pedigree-
gameplay from their
yeah,
new game,
yeah.
so like, who cares? I want to see gameplay. They
And
showed
I'm
it.
excited for that one game. Yeah.
Yeah, but we know, you're going to get a good game. You know, the pedigree of Forza. Is Forza going to
Tim, it's not about. We know these games are going to be good. Probably, you know, like they're probably going to be pretty
I
good.
know what you're
Yeah,
saying,
some of 'em, yeah.
but I don't think that they were ready. So either you don't show them, or you
You
do
think
show 'em.
Avowed is ready though?
I don't
Avowed
think
is
any-
way off.
Yeah.
I think they're way off, and that's my point. Is that they were either
Worried
they could show
though.
them.
Like,
They
what are
could
you worried
show
about?
them.
We already know they're making a ton of games, and
Exactly.
they didn't show
That's
them. We
my
did.
point.
They only showed 9 studios out of the 15.
Because they didn't show off the power of the Series X. Okay, let me ask you something. When is the show for the Series X? When is that coming?
August.
What when they showed Hellblade? What
The
did you
Series
say?
X?
It was fake. When they showed
Because
Hellblade,
they
this was
didn't
only a game
show
show.
it. They didn't show it in real time, like running even at 30 FPS. I mean, it wasn't indicative.
I know, but still, you said it was. Oh my god, that's next gen. I don't.
It looks
know.
amazing.
know.
I was just looking forward to seeing a 5 or 10 second piece of little gameplay from Hellblade. Fuck, I mean,
think I still do think. we
forgive
have
me
some
for that.
content.
How sinned.
You know, they also have initiative games be out there, but again, I don't think that game's going to be ready to be shown in a demo form. Especially now that they've had bad showings with demos, they got to get their act together. If they're going to show one of these games, they got to show it pristine quality, in my opinion.
George in the. Go ahead.
I
You
just feel
cap it
like
off.
I just feel, just to end it, is that if they could either show it and show what they did with no gameplay, because that's the only option that they had, or not show it. And if they didn't show it, we'd be going crazy.
I mean, yeah,
Absolutely
they needed
bananas.
to show it. That's not an option at this point. We waited 4 years. They can't not do that, and they know that.
Right.
But I would have just say 5-10 seconds cockpit view. Fuck me, right? I don't know why that's so hard to do. But George, he says 9 out of 10 for Game Pass, 5 out of 10 for Xbox Series X. Yes, I agree. And that's because we know how much power is in the box, and unfortunately, they didn't quite nail it there on the power front or really show you anything. That's one of the reasons I wanted to see Hellblade 2, because it looked like something that really leveraged the box to the really well. And I was like, we'll get one of those games that shuts people down, and we didn't get that. You're tired of hearing people talk shit about Xbox? Well, how about Xbox gives people a reason not to? Show me more shit that's going to shut people down.
They did confirm it's going to run on Unreal Engine 5, though.
Yes, they did. Because Unreal Engine 4 is upgradable, which is great. They've been building it on Unreal 4. They upgraded to Unreal 5.
So doesn't that make it Unreal Engine 4.5 from what we know? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
There you go.
But they did show State of Decay. They showed that the way they played off Grounded. You want the biggest game of the year? Well, wait for Cyberpunk.
best.
You know, that's the
That
only
was
way
so
they could have recovered from that, and that was great. Ori, the Ori section was not necessary. Outer Worlds DLC not necessary. They didn't even announce Xbox Series
I
X
enjoyed
support for that.
I like Outer Worlds. So
Avowed. I'm trying to skip
that
through
could
some
be
of
a
these.
tone-
I'm trying to skip through some of these because they're not
that
really
could be
worth
its own
talking about.
video, like up on the channel.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of putting
And
that
they
in
didn't
the
even
showcase.
announce Series
I
X
hear that.
support for Outer Worlds right now, as of right now. So that's kind of weird. Avowed.
that's true.
Yes, they did.
Did they?
Did they?
actually they did. Yeah, they didn't show any other system. I don't know if.
No,
No, I mean,
doubt that-
is it going to get like a Series X upgrade?
Yeah, I believe it.
Or is it just going to be back and
I would
path?
imagine, but they didn't even mention Outer Worlds when they were talking about at the end the games that are coming and getting patched for free. They didn't mention Outer Worlds there either. So hopefully it is.
They try to troll us a little there. I think that they had the grounded Outer Worlds, and we didn't think we.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going off what they're confirming officially. They didn't say anything, so that's unfortunate. I think they should. The game needs a patch at 60 FPS. They did show Avowed. Half of that was pre-rendered, it looked like, but the back half was actually in-game, it looked like. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But they did give you an idea of what that game's going to look like, and that's really what I want to know more of. As Dusk Falls looks like kind of like a squad-based survival thing. Hellblade 2, they talked about how it's in fucking Iceland. No one cares. Running on Xbox Series X. I guess it's not coming to Xbox One. They didn't show gameplay there. That was an L to me. Psychonauts 2 with Jack Black. That was kind of an extended thing. Jack Black.
That was too long.
A little
That
too
could've-
much.
I like that they brought
shouldn't
Jack
even been
Black
there.
into it, though. That's the only thing that made it watchable for me.
I know, and I thought when they showed Jack Black, we were going to see an announcement that they're working on Brutal Legend 2, but
Yeah.
instead he sings an awesome song for Psychonauts. Like, Psychonauts is a So there you go. That was your multi-plat they showed. That Psychonauts is releasing on Switch and PlayStation and PC and Xbox.
Psychonauts
but,
was not a bad game back in the day. I
I
liked
hear
that
it's really
game, so I'll
good,
play
but
it.
like that's one that they could have chosen to put as a standalone
on the
video.
pre-show.
They also talked about Destiny 2 for
That
the
pre-show
Series
is
X.
horrible, by the way.
Destiny 2 for the Series X and Game Pass. No one cares. Stalker 2.
Hang on a second. I got to give Jeff Keighley's. I don't have a problem with Jeff Keighley per se, as most people do, but his pre-show was an absolute 2 out of 10. I don't know why we give numbers to shows, but the funny thing was,
why are you talking shit on Jeff Keighley?
I just did not like that show when he was interviewing people, and then he showed some, I don't know, those games they showed. I was like, oh man, and they got so excited for that Banal at Wonderland game, like they were like, oh my gosh, we could end the show right here. I'm like,
oh man.
The funny part,
I felt that was, you know what, that pre-show, I felt like I was watching a Nintendo Direct. I really
yes. Did. So this is like for entertainment value. He asked Jacksepticeye about the Xbox platform. He goes, I love using my Xbox. I do everything on it. I watch Netflix. I watch 4K Blu-rays. I only use my PlayStation for gaming. And I was like, oh, burn! Like, holy crap! What did you think that was a cool thing to say? Like,
it was all very intentional.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, it was like, what was that?
Yeah, that's one thing I kind of noticed. The tone of that show, was this an Xbox show or was this like a third-party show? Because the tone was not really too pro Xbox, to be honest with you.
He showed some weird ass fucking games too, like some children saving the world and stuff. I get that. That's the show capper right there. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't know. I just my tolerance for these things is running low. Douglas Lowe, by the way, says, "What's a W1 now? No games, and that's out. No exclusives. The exclusive is Game Pass. Backwards compatibility is there. AAA are there. The brand is future proof beyond a plastic box." Yes, that's absolutely true. Yeah, what happens to the strongest? I don't know. Thanks, man. He says, great podcast. Appreciate it, buddy. I mean, again, I didn't dislike the show. It's just that the problems that were there, they were just so easily fixable. And I'm just trying to ask why certain things weren't done or certain things were shown how they were with all the glitches and stuff. I'd assume that's an old build, but why there were no textures on that guy's face, I'll have nightmares about that. I just expect a little more. And again, they did this. This wasn't a bad show. I think it was a pretty decent show, a 7.8 for me. But again, as always, I'm asking for a little bit more, especially after such a long time. But you got to add the pandemic as a variable, guys. And I can't, honestly, it's the only thing that explains the Halo demo to me. They've never shown another first party game off like that with that kind of technical issues going on. And I would say that the pandemic is definitely a big factor. It has to be. I can't think of anything else. Like, the pandemic sucked all the textures out of the studio.
Dealer.
I don't know what happened.
And ray tracing.
But you got to be able to laugh and joke about this stuff because you know the game's going to look amazing when it launches. It's going to get even better looking when ray tracing hits. But the fact that ray tracing isn't there at launch shows that the game's just not ready. That's just a fact. Or it would be there. So who wants to launch their product they worked 5 years on without one of the biggest features? And they're not doing it because it's not ready.
I think that Stalker 2 that they showed looks interesting. I looked back at some of the Stalker gameplay online. I guess it's a big PC game, or it was. It looks pretty cool. It looks like a Metro Exodus kind of vibe.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. A Squad Gaming, by the way, shout out to him.
Go, guys.
All right, Tim. Tim gives it a 9.
Guys.
Tim gives it a 9. Colt, what do you give it?
An 8.
He gives it an 8. I give it 7.8. Fonz, what do you give it?
As a Series X show? Like
no, just overall.
Just overall.
Overall.
This is their E3 this year.
Oh, God.
You said you liked the show.
You're
taking too long on this one. Come on.
I just don't like, I can't, I don't know, man.
A 7.5. All right. D-Batch, what do you give it?
Honestly, I'm in between a 7.5 and an 8. And the only reason why I think I might dock them half a point is because of the 1080-60. I know we knew beforehand it was going to be 1080-60, but in all honesty, after you watch the stream at 4K 60, your opinion changes on some of these games because you can see a lot more detail and see what they're shooting for. So right now, it might change, but right now, I'll give it a 7.5.
Gotcha. And again, A Squad says, super hype for State of Decay 3. Hopefully they make it a true next-generation survival game. Make a video on that, buddy. Get on that. I'm sure you are. But yeah, State of Decay 3, it was kind of cool to see. I kind of knew what it was the second it popped up. But again, we can kind of finish covering Dark Tide, the Stalker 2. Yeah, you're right, Fonz. It did remind me of Metro. Dark Tide, fucking Tetris. You know, hey, it is what it is.
Tetris,
The Gunk.
man.
At least that one was displayed at 60 FPS. You know, the Gunk. We talked about the
didn't
Medium.
interest me though.
Yeah, the Medium, I think, was one of the more impressive kind
That
of
looked
just
good.
showcases for a game, even though I'm not sure how the game will be overall. The, what is that? The Genesis? Or New Genesis? I don't remember that. Is that the Japanese one? The one from Sega?
Fantasy Star Online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't care. Crossfire
Yeah.
X, that is a free-to-play... That is a free-to-play shooter
Look good.
from the campaign is what they were showing off, I think. And that's from Remedy. I guess we'll
It was
see how that
4K
goes.
60, man. It was 4K 60.
Look good.
And more importantly, and this is one of the biggest points in the entire show, is Matt Booty saying, hey, you might have noticed that we didn't really show shit. Well, we got more to show later. And I'm just kidding. He did really place an emphasis on, hey, we got a lot more to show you later on in the year. So EXO, I'm sure, will be pretty big, stuff like that. And then lastly, they finally fucking confirmed Fable. Finally. Can you believe there were people out there that didn't think this was real?
It's real, really.
I think so.
Yeah, you know what they did show from it, what little bit, it looks like it's going to have some of that humor back again. And you know, they didn't show too much, of course. The frog looked good. It looked really good.
I'm seeing
but,
tens
you
in
know,
the chat, guys. You fucking think this is better than E3 2018? Seriously?
No, you see 6s and 10s.
I'm
and then you just kinda
I'm saying I see tens. You understand what a 10 is, right? I mean, shit.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
No way.
Look, man, we're not saying that the show per se is terrible, but it just wasn't what we wanted. We weren't tempering expectations. That's why I can't really.
And don't
give a
tell us
great
that. Don't
score.
tell us you should have tempered them. I'm done tempering them. It's been 4 years. I'm not tempering them. Sorry.
Exactly.
We're getting a lot of 8s in the chat too, though. I mean, again,
And the thing is,
you know,
they showed games. They showed that there are games on the way, but they should have just, you know, shown a bit more of them. Hellblade 2 especially, like that one, they really dropped the ball there. Like, I don't understand why they didn't show just a snippet. We only need a few seconds, even just something.
Crazy. We're used to seeing the Xbox E3 briefing. About half of it is multi-plat partner games, and the other half is first-party or console launch exclusives. And this was an hour of just Xbox platform titles.
man, imagine if Batman and Cyberpunk were there or something.
I
you
mean,
know?
I mean, it's not Damage Control, but we're used to seeing like the big AAA games that we're also, because none of us sit here and only play exclusives.
No.
And
No.
I love some of these exclusives that I play, but like to see the Batman game or all these other big games that we've been hearing about, or to see more gameplay from Cyberpunk that would have been on the stage if they were doing a full E3 show. Like, we didn't get to see that, and that adds to your enjoyment of the show. This was focused only on stuff that if you're on the Xbox platform, you'll only be able to play this stuff. They just should have shown more gameplay.
Now, you know what this whole thing has taught me? Like, this year sucks for a lot of things, and I don't want E3 to go away. I feel like,
Yeah,
I feel like, you know, after this, I feel like the E3 in some way, maybe next year, like they can have shit going, or the year after, whatever. I know they've already confirmed they're not doing E3 next year as well. Like everything up to August 2021, they said they're not going to do a physical type of event. And I'm just thinking, like, man, we really do need people to have these other publishers and stuff at their events, because by themselves they are not nearly as cohesive as they are when they kind of have these big players on stage. So I imagine if Batman would have showed up and looked fucking phenomenal, or Cyberpunk was there, and Call of Duty, and just like the old days, man. Tired of this.
Yeah, and you
shit.
wouldn't have said, "Man, that event sucked," because I don't care about the games that PlayStation players can play. Like, no real gamer is like that.
No.
And we still aren't even getting. We
they
still
didn't
haven't
even
gotten
really
to see
show-
any of this stuff.
They didn't
We
even
still-
really show games that were like terrible. Really, there was a couple of games that you didn't care about, but as a
Destiny was
whole,
there.
they showed a lot of decent games. It's just that they didn't showcase the power of the Series X at all. That's my main concern here. You're going into next gen. Why do I have to buy that console, sir? Sell me.
Well, they're
don't
also
have
telling you
one.
you don't have to.
Bonds, you don't have to. That's their message.
Well,
their message is to play
No,
where you
that's
want.
not true.
Yes,
That's
it
not
is.
true. They're not.
That's
They're
their-
not. They're not saying you can stay behind forever, Colt. They've already said that 1 to 2
I didn't
years.
say
that's gonna
that.
be
That's
phased
not
out.
their message right now. Their message this year is
But
all
that's
these
all
things are coming
marketing
to Xbox.
speak. Yeah, I look past that.
I think their message is either buy an Xbox Series X or a PC. That's their messaging to me. When xCloud gets kicked off, yes, I'm back. When xCloud gets kicked off, it's going to be play on any device you want. But right now, what I saw was a big push for Xbox Series X. I mean, we saw like every single game literally had the Series X and then Windows, and that's it.
Talking about
And a lot of
visually,
them
not
did.
words.
I mean, I get okay. So visually, yeah, I get it. They need to show some stuff that really like does promote like the next gen, kind of like medium with the changing of levels, stuff like that. I get that, and I do think they need to show that a little bit more. I just think that like every generation, it takes about 2 years to get to that point once a console launches. Where you
Until
see some
Rise
shit that
kicks your
you're like,
argument in the neck.
holy.
Like, you know, come on.
Rise.
I mean, there's a bunch of games in the history of gaming. There's always a game that you're like, holy fuck, Hellblade 2 was that in December. Rise was that in 2013. It's not really all that hard to put something like that together again, you know? Or show a little bit more, Hellblade 2, something else, you know? Zachary, what would you give the event?
So I actually enjoyed a lot of what I saw, and like Major Nelson said when he was here, it was very diverse, and that's something that I like. I don't want the same type of game that gets fucking boring to me. So I actually give it like a, you know what? I'm gonna give it an 8.7. I actually enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really well done. I thought they showed the thing that like I just keep harping on. They didn't show the console. Like they didn't talk about specs. They didn't talk about all this other business side of shit. They just showed games for a straight hour. I thought it was paced very well. I thought that they put a lot of stuff together very well. And some games I was like, don't care. But I get where like some people will like that. But not everything is for me. I get it. But I saw enough where I was like, man, there's 6 AAA games here that I will wholeheartedly play. And we haven't even like seen the Initiative and Exile or, you know, Coalition, a bunch of other all their other studios that are working. We haven't even seen that. So the bright future of Xbox did show out, and that's what I liked about it. I just enjoyed what they showed, and I thought they showed a very diverse first party lineup that no other publisher is doing something that diverse. None. So that's what I like. Like I said, I like different types of games. I said it's major. I like Ori to Gears Tactics to fucking, you know, Minecraft Dungeons. It's like, what the hell? And then I could go into Gears after. Like it doesn't like.
Well,
there's
this is a
such
lot better than that
diversity
because
in
they
different
actually
types.
showed like AAA kind of more AAA type things that we know will be bangers. It's not even really
Exactly.
about who gives a fuck about necessarily the diversity, because I care about what I want, and I'm not into every type of game. I saw more of what I want out of what they show. Like Avowed, I know I'm playing that. Fable, I know I'm playing that. Forza Motorsport, I know I'm playing that. Halo, I know I'm playing that. Like Tim's not wrong at all, and we have agreed with him. You have shown AAA games, but you know the little snippets of gameplay is my only complaint. That's all.
I think that's a big point.
And where's that Series X gameplay? That's what we want to see.
It's missing gameplay. That's a big takeaway. They should have had a little bit more gameplay, and I'll be honest, it's a little disheartening, especially after last events, how we complained about it. You know, that's what kind of leads me to the 7.5 score. Like I want to give it an 8, and in the end, I might give it an 8 after I you know, digest everything. But yeah, it was missing a lot of gameplay. Like there were some cool trailers. We saw some cool stuff. I saw some stuff that impressed me. Like I said, that Echo Mecha game fucking looked incredible. Crossfire X I thought looked really good, and that was like 4K 60. Like there was a lot of stuff that I saw that impressed me, but overall, I wanted to see more gameplay, and I wanted to be wowed more. It needed to have that wow factor.
Yeah.
And I think you're right.
And
I think the fact that it missed some of the third-party games, I think that kind of hurt the show a little bit. Because other years, like when we think about it, the exclusives always look good on the system, but you know, we get wowed by the Call of Duties and all these other third-party games that are coming out, and there was none of that on this show. So I think that kind of hurt the show overall, but I thought the pacing and everything was fantastic. Wasn't a bad.
It was well done.
Wasn't a bad.
It was well
I
done
think
in
the
that
lack.
respect.
I think the lack of like release dates has to do with what's going on around the world right now. Because Sony had a lack of release
course.
dates on their stuff, and that's the thing. Like I understand that like, you know, things are not going as well as we want in the world. So I get things are getting delayed. I get like they're adjusting, but I am glad. Like, I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm a little more surprised that they showed that much stuff and that many AAAs, and being like, hey, this is what we got coming in the next few years. Enjoy it. Especially, like, I'm telling you, the I don't know if you guys talked about this, because, you know, I was trying not to get fired, but the freaking Obsidian, like, I'm at work, man. The Obsidian thing with when they showed Grounded and then made fun of the Cyberpunk, I was like, awesome. And then from there, like, they showed like a little game, Grounded, that actually a lot of people are, but then they were like, by the way, here's this, and they showed us that big, you know, like expansive, like RPG that they're working on, and it was a huge moment. I thought that was done flawlessly, and I was like, that's self-aware.
That was the most
awesome.
well executed moment of the show.
Yeah. That's the problem, though. That was my favorite moment of the whole show, and it shouldn't have been. Like, that shouldn't have been the moment for me.
But it was fun, really, and it happened. And you know what?
But the thing is,
what do you give the show? You decide yet?
Probably a 6.5.
Oh shit! And you said you liked it? Fuck, that's a D, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the pacing and everything, and there was aspects that I do like. I like the fact that Destiny is in Game Pass now, and I don't have to buy the expansions. That's fantastic. But again, it's more of a Game Pass showcase. Even when we had Major Nelson on, that's what he was saying. Game Pass, guys. Game Pass. Game Pass. Game Pass, guys. Game Pass. Game Pass. Yep. White hands. Game Pass. You know. Look, they're selling a product here. I get it. But at the end of the day, it's about showcasing your next generation hardware that you've been hyping up forever now. Mm-hmm. I wanted to see that. And, you know, we didn't, even with the Sony show, like, I didn't see a wow moment where I was like, wow, that's next gen to me. Like, I still have not yet seen that from either company.
Hellblade 2 is the closest thing we've seen to it.
I'm sorry, but like I kind of feel like you are a little bit critiquing, like, oh, it's a Game Pass. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, that makes me happy when I hear Game Pass. That, because I have it, and it doesn't matter.
Of course, I love Game Pass, and I think it's
the best thing in gaming, bro.
But the thing is we're going into a new generation. We need to see why we need to buy these consoles. That to me, that's what E3 is about at this point.
Fonz, do you need to be convinced to buy an Xbox Series X, or are you going to buy both, or where are you sitting on it?
It's not about, look, it's not about whether I'm convinced.
Because I don't care about everybody else.
I agree, but you have to care to a certain point, because if the whole market share is one-sided again, then you're not going to have competition, healthy competition that's needed for innovation. To go forward, you're going to have stale, stagnant.
Fonz ain't even worried about himself. He's just saying that Microsoft have not gone in and shown you any kind of tech demo stuff. They haven't really, since they got all this power and all this capability. This is one area they have fallen short on, in my opinion, is to really show. They haven't shown it to you. The Hellblade 2 in December is the closest we've gotten, and that is something that looks next gen. That's the only thing really that looks next gen that I've seen.
Well, what does look next gen from anybody?
I just explained it. You can tell by looking at it.
No, like what?
No, I'm saying, like, you're saying
no,
I'm saying what other company has shown you something that you're like, wow, that's next gen, minus the Hellblade?
That's what I'm saying. Like, we haven't seen that stuff
from anybody. That's what I'm.
But just because Billy doesn't wash his ass, don't mean that you shouldn't. You know, like,
no, it's not about that. I just don't think that they're there yet. I literally think that COVID has fucked up people, that they can't really, like, show it yet because it's not ready.
I tell people next year we may not see very many games released because of COVID-19.
I think that they should put some kind of tech demo together and do something for the guys that are curious, and just give some interesting numbers.
Well, the crappy thing is the 3% of us that are really into this technical stuff, it sucks. They don't care about, like, we're not a big enough demographic to, like, break down and say, this is why we can do ray tracing. This is how ray tracing is implemented into the Xbox Series X.
So just abandon us and don't say anything? Cool.
It sucks. No. And in fact, I just told somebody that they need to show people why and how these things work, because there are people that care about this. The problem with the gaming industry, and why you see so many multiplayer games and, like, these smaller games that look like something that hardcore people wouldn't like, is because we're in, like, the 10% of the community, and it sucks that they look at everybody as, like, this big gigantic conglomerate of money coming out of a wallet, and sometimes we get left in the dust. Like we want them to show why the Xbox Series X is the console to play the games. And like Zocker's saying, these third-party developers will bang on all cylinders starting sometime next year, or they're going to start doing it right now or last year with a dev kit. And in 2021 or 2022, they put out something like, holy crap, now that's what we were waiting for next gen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think that there was something with Hellblade, and maybe Zocker could speak to this, but maybe there was some part of the development in Hellblade that wouldn't allow them to show something running in game, walking through the environment. Like maybe textures aren't even ready to be loaded in.
I think it's textures. I think it's the number one thing that's affected in gaming. And Phil has talked about it, and so has everybody else, is mocap. And that is something because they can't get together. They can't get together because people cannot come together because they're not allowing them to. So they've said
show the mocap.
I think
That could be true, but
is one of those.
Don't
they
show
showed
the
it last
mocap.
year,
Then
that's the thing,
scan across the environment again in some other part of the environment. There is no excuse. Like fuck, 5 seconds.
But what sells those consoles to the casuals? What sells them in Xbox this December or November, whenever it drops?
Halo.
What sells them this? Like E3 is supposed to sell you on that at the start of a new generation, and this show is selling Game Pass, and I love Game Pass again, but what is selling the Series X?
I disagree with you there, Fonz. Game Pass really is going to drive sales of the Xbox Series X next generation. Game Pass is going to be huge, and you're going to see all the different companies start to follow Microsoft's lead with this service. So the Game Pass thing was...
No, it might sell... No, D. It might sell a Lockhart, but it's not going to sell a Series X.
Why not? You don't have to buy your exclusives on it, because if you have Game Pass, you're saving tons of money.
Because it's cheaper.
I think xCloud will sell you a Series X. I mean, you gotta keep your mind open and say, look, if I'm on xCloud and I want to take my experience, like I really enjoy gaming. I didn't even know this. Like, let me buy the best experience I can have.
You keep saying, why does it matter? As an Xbox fan, you should want it to.
No, because you just said
want it to sell.
It sells. You said it. You said it sells a Lockhart. That's
might
fine.
sell
That's
a
their business
Lockhart
prerogative.
if they buy exactly. But what about that Series X? Like, why you have to sell? You have to have that showcase for the Series X.
Like how many people have bought? How many people have upgraded to an Xbox One X? How many people have one of the top fucking performing PCs out there? Like, do you understand that? Like, the Series X is for probably everybody watching right now, us, and the very like hardcore. Like, that is a very homage.
I mean,
to
Fonz has an argument,
us.
but he kept going with it, and that's why it's easily deconstructed. But Fonz, you just want to see stuff that really leverages that hardware in particular. That's all I got to say. It's as simple as that, right? You don't got to go into that. How much shit is it going to sell? Microsoft don't give a fuck where you play their games. They just want you to buy the games. Just because it sells 5 million or 10 million don't mean that it's not going to be leveraged. It's built into their development kits.
No, but for a company that they want to make those sales regardless. Of course,
they don't make money on the console sale. They don't make any money on this fucking console sale. They might even take loss.
Well, you're talking about the Series X. Okay.
Yes, and even the low end stuff. They're breaking even on the shit that's selling you the games.
They don't really want you to buy the console. They don't really want to sell you hard on the Series X. Like, not really. Like, technically, if you buy it, it's another opportunity for you to get on the platform, but they're also going to sell their games on PC. Some of these games are going to Steam. They just want you in the ecosystem, and they have to bring you in with good games. The games have to look great. They have to wow people, and that's what brings them into the ecosystem.
And I totally agree with you, but do you know how many casuals out there don't give a rat's butt about Game Pass and don't care about it at all?
That's actually completely false, because it's over completely 10 million people, bro.
There's probably more people that care about
I mean, why do we keep coming back to Game Pass? Like, they didn't even overly harp on Game Pass.
Because that's what the showcase was about today.
It's really not. It's just that all the games, it's such a good fucking deal that all the games were in there because it's all first party shit.
I disagree.
There was no Game Pass promo.
It's
was
all
no
it's
Game
all
Pass.
it's all first party stuff, Fonz. No, it's all going to be in there.
That's why
It's
it was
2017.
discussed at the beginning, at the top of the show, that all those games are in Game Pass.
Yeah,
That's why
the,
Major
the
Nelson's
show wasn't
making
about
around
Game
saying
Pass. The show was
Game
about
Pass,
new
Game
games
Pass.
and the stuff they're working on. Game Pass is a byproduct of just the reality of the
We
situation.
can agree to disagree.
You know?
First party Game Pass day and date has been a thing since what, spring 2018? Like it's
So every show
that's
from now
what it
on,
is.
if it's a first party showcase, is going to be about Game Pass by your logic, though, and that's what I'm saying. They're all already in
not
Game
if they
Pass.
not if they showed games with ray tracing coming on launch day and freaking looking good without all the pop-ins and stuff.
But
No,
that doesn't
it would have
mean
been a-
by
a
the same
showcase
logic
for
that
the
it's not-
Series X as well.
I mean, yeah, we want that anyway. It
It
doesn't
could have
matter.
been both.
It don't matter about
But
Game
this
Pass.
one
but-
wasn't. This one wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't have that visually demanding gameplay segment that we really wanted.
Nothing.
That's all you got to say. That doesn't mean that it's suddenly about Game Pass. Doesn't make any sense.
It was, dude.
But they did say, hey, all this stuff's in Game Pass. That doesn't make the whole fucking show about Game Pass. It's just the reality of the
at
situation.
the top of the show, they say that, and then Major Nelson's making all his rounds.
Well, he's
saying
got
Game
to
Pass,
pitch what he's
about Game
here to
Pass.
pitch, right? So I mean,
I know.
but really,
But
the show is
the
about
shoe
to each
fits, man.
person what it's about. And
But
to a lot
like-
of people, the show's about Fable.
But like Fonz.
A lot of people, the show's about Avowed, etc.
But-
Halo.
But Fonz, but you're just it just you just make it sound like a negative, and it's not. Like you're just making it like, yeah, it's about Game Pass. It's like, yeah, every fucking show is going to be about Game Pass because that's what Dealer just said, inherently what it's all going to be about.
But
And the
it could
thing
have
is
been
that
about
it's not just
both.
first
It
party.
could have
And this is-
showcased the Series
But
X
it is
as
about
well,
both.
my
It is about
point,
both. That's
Zucker.
why they
It's
had
not.
just Series
It's
X goddamn games on there, Fonz.
It's
like,
because,
first
like
party-
you
a lot of the
said, they
first
don't
parties
care
are
where
working
you
on
play
just
it. It
Series
wasn't
X
about
games.
Series
I like
X.
turtles.
Wasn't about Series X. They don't care where you play it. You said it already.
Well, then I
Shut up,
think
safety.
I think
Shut
you're
up,
gonna
safety.
need I think you're gonna need a little bit of like a reality check there because it's not only about Series X anymore. Xbox is not Series X. Xbox is not just the console. Xbox is PC. Xbox is the console. Xbox is Game Pass, and that's something you're gonna need to like, I guess, come back to reality for.
Well, it's just
That's what it's
it's
about
just
now.
the argument
Xbox
of
is
we
trying to-
didn't get any super demanding, hyper demanding looking games in real time running on the console. That has been taken and turned into something else that it didn't need to. Like the reality, Fonz is right. There weren't those games there, as I said, as we all said. Hellblade wasn't running there, but that doesn't then suddenly mean that the entire show was about Game Pass. It's just that every game since a first party showcase is on Game Pass, which is a positive. But whatever. Everyone has their own perspective and opinion. I'm fucking, yeah. You know what? 7.8 for me. Colt gave it. What'd you give it, Colt? We'll round it out again with the scores.
I gave it an 8.
8. Zucker gave it a 500, right? You gave it an 8.7.
8.7.
Yeah, Tim gave it a 9.
Tim gave it a 9.
I gave it a 6.5.
You gave it a 6.5. So varying scores for varying reasons. Usually I'll pick up on something that I say, oh, could have been easily done. It would have really raised it up for me. But again, it was definitely way better than last year's E3. And that's keeping in mind that they didn't have third-party support there like they did last year. And it was still better than last year. So, we just have to really keep in mind that the pandemic, the fact that you don't have those big bangers like Cyberpunk coming out on stage like you did last year. And they still showed a lot of AAA stuff. I would have liked to see little snippets of gameplay for maybe each one, especially ones that we know are closer than Avowed. And we didn't get that necessarily. So Fable announced, Avowed announced, 2 big games right there. Definitely stuff to be hyped for.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see more. Let us know your thoughts. If you haven't hit the like button, show a buddy or two. And we had Major Nelson on the show earlier. If you want to go back and watch the show and check out all the topics. Right now it's sounding a little negative. Again, we didn't give it really bad scores. Let's say Fonz is kind of a bad score. Mine I wouldn't say is a real bad score. No one else is really a bad score. I thought it was better than the Sony showcase, but just barely. And that's my opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion, and let us know that down below. But we are going to head out of here, guys. Cody, so what have you been up to, and where can people find you, man?
I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima like crazy. I've got like over 20 or 25 hours into it, and I'm only on Act 2. The game's absolutely phenomenal. You can find me at Cole Eastwood on YouTube. I'll have a video up probably early tomorrow morning where I've got an interview with Major Nelson. So I haven't really told anybody that, but he had me interview him about the show. And so I'll kind of talk about that tomorrow. And I'm going to stay off Twitter because people are crazy. They're crazy right now. And, the show is great and it needed improvements, and every show needs improvements. But like really really take a step back, take a breath, and make sure that you're enjoying the hobby, that you're excited about the games that look good to you. Keep in mind there's more coming. PlayStation has another event coming. Xbox has their August event. Then they're going to do XO. And then they'll probably show something at the Game Awards. Like, there's more stuff coming. The world is in a really crappy place right now, and not everything can work the way that it's supposed to. And I hope that all of these teams can provide the stuff that we love, this hobby we enjoy so much. And just ignore the people out there who are they were going to hate anyway. So I hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I think it's worth reiterating, criticism is not necessarily hate, and not that Colt's addressing our own show, obviously, but if you see somebody out there saying, hey, man, they could have done one or two things and it could have been X, Y, and Z better, that's 100% fine. But yeah, like over and over and over every fucking day and unreasonable type shit, you know, there's a big difference between wanting 5 seconds of Hellblade, sitting and walking through a damn field, or some rocks that look good, and some Forza fucking cockpit cam for 5 seconds, and what a lot of these guys are already saying out there. So I think the showcase was good overall. Just needed a little bit more. And again, you gotta really, again, consider the fact no third party there. And I feel like Sony there was some third party there. Don't get me wrong, not that they didn't have any, but their third party stuff there was a lot smaller than I feel like Sony's third party stuff was, right? I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So really, if I was Microsoft, I would have tried to build the best show possible, and that means getting the biggest, the best games on your stage, and that's the mantra they lived by every E3. They've tried to do this, so I wouldn't change that now. So again, guys, let us know your thoughts. D-Batch, where can people find you, bud? What have you been playing?
I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. Of course, you guys can find me on Twitter at D_Batch and on YouTube at DEE_Batch, BATCH. I should have a video dropping in about an hour or so. It's going to be pretty good. I think you guys will like it. Overall, I thought it was a good show. I still got to digest it fully. I think it's good that they listened to us with some points, like not showing the indie games. They showed the indie games in the pre-show, and we all know how we felt about the pre-show, so I'm glad they didn't show that in the main show. I like how they were self-aware with Grounded. I thought overall the show was good. I think the part where they failed a little bit is on the gameplay. I think they need to show more gameplay, and some of the stuff that they did show, like Halo, needed to be more polished. Apart from that, overall it was a good show. I don't think it was any worse than what Sony showed. If anything, it's a tie for me, or slightly better than Sony's show. And I think August is when we're going to see these companies kind of put their shit together. So, we got some more stuff to come. It's summer. We didn't have E3 due to the conditions, and at least we got these shows, and I'm happy.
Well said. Fonz, buddy, where can people find you, and what have you been playing?
Yeah, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima, which is an amazing game. Try that out if you have a PS4. But they can find me at The Grounded Gamer here on YouTube, and at JFonzReilly on Twitter. And I just want to give a shout out to Obsidian, because to me, they were the stars of the show today. Big time. Really looking forward to Avowed.
Yeah, it looks good. Zalker, buddy, what have you been playing? Where can people find you, man?
I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima a bunch. I actually played a bunch yesterday. I got actually a few hours into it, got into the flow of the game. Really good game. I'm really enjoying it. You guys can find me on Twitter at Zalker87, YouTube Zalker87 are in your recommends. And I really enjoyed the show. I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed what I saw. I would say it's slightly better than Sony's show. And I'm really happy with the diverse games that Xbox is bringing out. That actually makes me happy. I want to play different types of game always. New experiences, stuff like that. And hopefully I didn't get fired after doing this show, because I did not want to miss this show with the chat and everybody in the panel. I mean, honestly, today's a good day for Xbox and good day for just gamers in general. So yeah, you guys are awesome.
Man United, a tie. These guys are capping. Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. One person said it was a fucking tie. All right? Can you hear? So again, it's actually worse than you're saying. I said it was better than the PlayStation show. How do you like that? Are you all right with that opinion?
And I said that
gaming is a selfish hobby.
I said at worst a tie. I'm not completely down on my score. So hey.
I mean, Xbox overall, I think they showed more newer, more interesting overall first party games than Sony did. Sony showed a few. I mean, I liked the event. A lot of people didn't like that I liked the event. I don't give a fuck. I'm just being
no
myself.
wiener
I'm
hands,
just
though.
being honest. I got wiener hands, bitch. I like this show
Hell.
more. They showed more games. Avowed, Fable, Forza, Halo. They also showed, what's another bigger first party game? They had at least another one there. Hellblade 2, they taught fucking Iceland.
Oh,
They didn't do things quite how I would have done them, but at the end of the day, they did address and speak of and show more from more bigger titles, I think, than Sony did at that show. But that's what we've been saying, is they got another show coming up. So we'll see what they show there, right?
We
Take
don't
it
know
as you
what
go.
initiative's working on. We don't know what coalition's working on. We don't know what compulsion's working on. What are
In
the
Exile.
other studios? In Exile?
And it needs to
Yeah.
be said too. We all have, even on this panel, we all have different opinions on these games and stuff. Some of us like different types of games, and you're going to have your own opinions. So
And, can I say
And to
whoever
say that it's
said- whoever said
subjective or anything like that,
Fable?
that literally goes without saying. Like, obviously, as we've already said, like, everyone's got their own opinion.
but
Like, can I just say whoever was like damage controlling or trying to fear monger that Fable never existed? You're an idiot. Every one of you, like, come on. It was like the worst kept secret in gaming, and like everybody's just trying to fear monger that Xbox isn't working on shit. Well, today you just got proven wrong, and you need to shut your mouth from now on and just enjoy gaming as a hobby, not as a fucking competition between stupid shit.
Yeah.
you can email him at zocker87@gmail. No, I'm just kidding.
But
Sorry,
yeah,
I do,
again,
man. I
if
don't
you're
like that
if you're in the
shit, man.
comments and you're mad that I like the Xbox show better than the Sony one, I don't give a fuck what you think. How about that? Anyway, we're
Yeah,
gonna
pretty much.
let us know your
Yeah.
thoughts in the chat. You're allowed to
care.
you're allowed to
We
dislike
enjoy
it
gaming.
more. You're allowed to like it more. I don't care what you think. If you like Sony's more, that's fine. I'm not bitching about it in a fucking chat like a weirdo. So again, you're allowed to have your opinion. You can like ketchup. I don't gotta like ketchup, right? All right.
Oh,
so,
Craig Lewis says you're being paid by Xbox.
Well,
Can I have some of that money?
I mean, you're watching, so I'm being paid by you. Anyway, thank you guys for what you do. Hit the like button, retweet, subscribe. Appreciate it. All the chat that rock out with us, that keep it real, that understand that we always give our honest take. We don't like a lot of Xbox events. If you watch, you know that. This one, hey, gave it a 7.8 into the fucking world, right? So again, let us know your thoughts. We're gonna get out of here.
It's
Let everybody.
the real deal.